Welcome to the fourth episode of the Caution Free podcast. I am your host, Colton Sutley, along with Tim Friedhaber. Um, so there was actually some dirt races this past weekend. Um, just gonna hit those results real quick and maybe just talk about it a little bit. Um, there was a midget race at the Southern Illinois Center in DuQuoin. Uh, there was a junior Nepper 55 and Thomas Meseraull won that. And then the Gateway Nationals were going on as well. And night one, Nick Hoffman won the super late models, and RTJ, Ricky Thornton Jr. won the modified race. And then night two, RTJ won the super late model race, and then Jordan Grabowski won the modified race. And on the final night, Brandon Shepard won the super late models, and Drake Troutman won the modifieds. Um, I don't know if you remember Tim, but not Drake Troutman. He won the late model feature at the Stampede at Lernerville, so that we
Yeah.
went to. Now, so
hmm
it's nice to see somebody from PA going out there and winning a race.
Yeah.
Did you see any of the highlights or anything? I know we talked about in the last episode about the retaliation, the wreck and retaliation, but I don't know if you saw
No,
any more.
after that I didn't really see anything else.
Yeah, I'm not sure how. I forgot to check up on the Western PA guys that run in Western PA a lot. Just forgot to check to see how well they did. I know John Lee and Ryan Montgomery were out there. I know Montgomery made the A main on Saturday, but I'm not sure how he did. And I think it was Friday that he flipped in the feature. They flipped him back over and he continued to race. And before he got interviewed by Blake Anderson, and he said he flipped at Marion Center, and so F it, we're gonna send this bitch. So like he gave no flags, no flags given there, and he ended up moving up some in that feature and stuff. But it was all I saw it on a couple people posted it on like X or Twitter or whatever you call it, and I f- I didn't send it to you because I figured you'd probably see it pop up because of just how it was. But I'll have to find it and send it to you so you can see it.
Yeah. Um, so PA Sprint Week, they released their schedule different than PA Western Sprint Week. There's 10 days, 10 races. June 26th to July 7th. Williams Grove is 10,000 to win. Lincoln's 25,000 to win. Babs is 10,000 to win. Then we go back to Lincoln for another 10,000 to win. Grandview 10,000 to win. Port Royal 10,000 to win. Hagerstown 10,000 to win. Back to Williams Grove for 20,000 to win. Back to Port Royal for 10,000 to win. And the final night's at Selinsgrove for 10,000 to win. Um, and all of them pay at least 10,000 to win. Um, I've seen a lot of kind of angry people that there's multiple races at multiple tracks. Um, I think there's a lot more tracks in PA they could have added to get away from running Williams Grove and Port Royal twice, but
And
what are you
Lincoln
gonna
as
do?
well. The
Yeah.
big thing, it's so they complain about it every year because that's how it is every year. And the reason it's like that is because the speed week is put on by the tracks themselves, and so like they're the ones putting up the money, so they kind of have the control over it and stuff. And I don't like it. And even if they don't even come out to the Western PA area for a speed week, which I understand they probably most likely never will just because of the travel cost being
Mhm.
so far. Um, but like there's a lot of Central PA tracks that do 410 shows like once or twice a year. when they can, and they don't include them in the speed week. So it'd be hopefully someday they can add they can add at least three more tracks. But I mean, the good news though is that it is the first time that all the shows will pay 10K to win at least. And then the 25K to win race at Lincoln is the first time that I think a race in the speed week is going to pay 25,000 to win. So that's good to see. Um and then Port Royal, they released their schedule around like episode 1 or 2 of our podcast, but we didn't go over it. And then I saw Williams Grove and Lincoln both released their schedules within the past couple of days as well. So all three all the three main tracks in Central PA have released their schedules now, and so a lot of sprint cars on their schedule, obviously. Um, Sealands Grove and Baps are like the next two, I would say, on like the hierarchy, and they haven't yet released their schedule, but they both have released some events that are gonna be on it, and then I'm sure like Clinton County is a track that usually fits like one or two 410 shows in like a year and stuff whenever some of these tracks are off and stuff. So I'm sure some of these other tracks will try to fit in some shows, like 410 shows when they can. And obviously they have their regular weekly series or I mean classes. And then another schedule that dropped was the Power I 410 Outlaw Sprints. Um, they have 30 races. It's mainly a Midwest series, and they're like really big in the Missouri area. I think like Lake Ozark Speedway has like nine um events on on the schedule, and so it'll be a lot of good tracks from what I saw, but don't know too many of them. Just know that enough good ones that it'll be some good racing for those guys out there in that area.
Yeah, so then Sharon released their schedule. They're running 18 races. Their highlights include their opener on May 11th, which includes 410s. Then they have on May 18th, they have the Outlaw Sprint Cars. June 1st, they have the Western PA Sprint Week. Um, June 12th, they have the Ohio Sprint Speed Week. July 12th through the 13th, they have the Outlaw Late Models. August 17th, it's the Lou Blaney Memorial. September 6th to the 7th is the Apple Festival Nationals, which includes 410s on the second night and rush sprints and 305s both nights, among other classes. And then September 29th, they have the Outlaw Sprint Cars. And in total, they have 9 rush shows and 9 410 shows.
Yeah, the Apple Festival Nationals, they're like pretty much like their version of the Steel City Stampede, just a little different. They run almost every class both nights besides I think the big blocks just race that Saturday or the the first night and then the 410s race the next night. And actually, they might not do complete shows for all the other classes. They might just do heat races the first night and then the features the second night. I'm not sure. I can't quite remember how it worked this year, but it usually puts on a pretty good show. I mean, this year I think it was a little rough because of the weather, but it usually puts on some good racing. And um, I I'm surprised how many rush shows are there because so I looked into it last night. There's like last year they had 26 races scheduled on for the rush sprints. Well, between PPMS, Hummingbird, and Sharon, they already have 21 races scheduled. So I'm like, how many freaking races are they gonna run? Because last year they ran at 9 different tracks, I believe, is what I counted. So it'll be interesting to see how many races it ends up being, which if it 21, that's like I would say like a regional series is usually 20 to 30-ish range. So it'll be interesting to see how many, if they end up doing nine more shows or what. But um, and then I saw the other day that McKean County Raceway was added to the ULMS schedule. That's another Western PA track, so that's again adding to the more than half of this of the ULMS schedule being in Western PA. So if you have a super late model, uh, might want to hop on that series to get some good paying points or purses, I mean. And then there's been some drivers news lately. One that I we talked about off air that I had heard about is Blaze Myers. He's a local driver. He's going to be driving for Ted Hall and Hall's 41 Rush Sprint car. He'll have the uh, Blaze's Joker theme, which looks badass. Is still going to be on, it'll be on that car, and he will also be running his own 410 winged sprint car, which they just recently purchased. And on his Facebook, he is looking for sponsors for the upcoming season, and the sponsorship will be split between the two cars. So if you want to hit him up, if you're interested in sponsoring him, you can hit him up on his Facebook, and he also put his number in the Facebook post. So since it was in the post, I'll say it here. His number is 814-657-4295. And I think if anybody has money to sponsor somebody, you should go sponsor him. He is really talented. Um, the progress he's made in the rush sprints, from only racing it like 3 or 4 years, I want to say, is very impressive. And he's a real man, not afraid to run the cushion, rip the lip, and so it'll be somebody that will be competing for wins, I feel, in this upcoming season.
So Thomas Meserol's primary focus this season will be in the Maverick Wing Sprint Car Series, also known as Team S. Uh, he ran about 30 winged races before altogether, so this is a big step up. Sure did good. Tyler Rankin is committed to running the IRA Sprint Series, and then Johnny
Herrera.
Herrera created a team for Chase Parcher on a 410 for around 50 to 60 races in the Midwest.
Emerson Axum it was announced that he's running his family-owned winged 410 for, if I remember correctly, it was 40 to 50 races. He's in like Indiana, so it'll probably be like Ohio and the Maverick series quite a bit. Um, it's like a lot of good and bad stuff with that. The Clausen Marshall Racing is shutting down all their non-winged 410 stuff because that's what he ran before. He was like third in the USAC points this past season. So he's I'm sure his goal was to go winged 410 racing eventually. So now it'll be interesting to see how well he does. And then some people might not know, but Johnny Herrera was a World of Outlaw driver for I don't know how many years, but it's good to see that he's creating a team for somewhat a young kid out in Oklahoma to run some 410s. And then the Tulsa shootout is coming up this week, or when we're gonna drop this on Christmas, so it'll be the week of. I think December 26th is move-in day, and then the 27th they start racing, and they'll race until Sunday, New Year's Eve. Um, and then there are six classes for those that don't know. Uh, there's the Wing Outlaw, which has 237 entries, the Non-Wing Outlaw, which has 350 entries, Winged A class, which has 380 entries, stock non-wing, which has 387 entries, restricted A class 142 entries, junior sprints 113 entries, and then there was like a total of 1,609 entries, which is just mind-blowing that there's that many. Of course, some of the entries are like the same drivers, but it's still crazy to see not many guys entered.
Yeah. So the maybe I'm just confused. This is a micro race, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And what is the difference? So they're running non-winged micros?
Yeah, so there's like six different kinds of micros. Well, I don't know if junior sprints are technically called micros or if there's a
Mm-hmm.
difference, but I couldn't tell you the I think so stock non-wing micros are like stock like engine and stuff, and they're like obviously non-wing. And then I
Yeah.
think wing to A class is like the same thing just with a wing, but I don't know because they also have restricted A class. So I don't
Hmm.
I'm not sure, but I know like winged outlaw and non-wing outlaw are more they'd be like the top type of micros.
Yeah.
And then obviously junior sprints are like beginners and stuff. Yeah. But um some of the big names that are going to be there, which there's always big names and stuff. Kyle Busch, he's going to be there, and his son Brexton is also going to be there. Um, Tyler Courtney, he's going to be driving for Christopher Bell's micro team. C Bell, usually he used to race there when he was allowed to race dirt, which hopefully someday he will be allowed to again. Um, Noah Gas, outlaw driver, he'll be there. He's from that area. Cannon McIntosh, Logan Seavey, Chili Bull winner, he'll be there. Wyatt Miller, that's Dale Jr.'s nephew. He'll be there. Jesse Love, he's gonna be going into his rookie year in the Xfinity Series this upcoming year. Um, Ricky Thornton Jr., he's gonna be there. I saw something cool where he's gonna be giving back to some like kids, like to help them get opportunities or I'm not sure exactly all the details, but he's giving back to the young racers, which is cool to see. Emerson Axum, like we mentioned before, he's going to be there. Jason Pursley, another good USAC driver. I saw that Jace Park was going to be there as well, which we mentioned earlier. And Gavin Bochelle, he will be there as well. There's so many entries that I could not go through. I just kind of like ran through them as quick as I could to try to find some of the big names, and I'm sure I missed a bunch of them. There's just so many entries and so many good drivers. It's like it's Christmas when it comes to racing to see the assortment of drivers there.
I know. I know Haley Deegan's racing,
Yeah, I
and
did see that.
her boyfriend Chase, her husband, fiance, whatever he is also racing. He's
I
pretty
did
good. So
I did see that she was on the list last night, but I forgot to put it in the notes, so that's my fault on that. But I mean, there's just so many freaking names. Like I'm and it went to my race pass to see the entries, so it was
mhm,
like a real pain to go through them. But
yeah.
I know a lot of these guys are going to be racing like at least two, if not more, of the classes.
Hmm.
I mean. It's just crazy, like because I don't think there's like a ton of difference between some of these cars. So like you could show up with like two micros, like one for like A class and one for outlaw, and then just take the wing on and off. But I don't know how many guys actually do that directly, but I know a lot of them race like up to four or five classes.
Hmm.
Um, and then since it's Christmas time. We're gonna do I actually kind of stole this idea from Open Wheel Spectacular that TJ Slideway that's his Twitter account and Does a lot of dirt racing articles. I listened to his podcast this week at work, and him and his co-host did this. So I was like, that's a great idea. Gonna do that. So we're gonna have Christmas lists. Just basically our top three things we want for the 2024 racing season, like to happen or whatever. Do you still need some time to think about some stuff, or do you want me
No,
to
I
go
have my
first?
three.
Okay, you can go first, and then I'll go. I mean, I at least have two, and then the third one I'm just gonna pull out of thin air like a magician.
I have two that are realistic, so I'll start with those. So the first one, I want Rico to win the high limit series, of course. Um, my second one, I want them to approve racing with other tires in all the classes because Hoosier tires suck. The material on them sucks lately, and guys lose races because their tires pop, and I think it's bullshit. Um, and three, I want Tri City to fix their freaking track surface. That's my Christmas list.
That I don't. That's a pretty good. Like I think only like one and a half of those can happen, and I say one.
At least improve their tire compound.
They've been working on. Well, they got a new tire this past year, and I feel like it's been better. But I just it's just hard. Like it'll cost racers more money with introducing more tires because guys will just buy like multiple tires, multiple different like types of those tires, and it'll
That's
just
true.
like because they're just trying to get in that edge, and then it'll end up just costing more and more money, and it's just maybe have somebody a competitor, but have the tires be not exactly the same, but like the same.
That's what I
I
mean.
like I don't even know like what I mean, but I know like Hoosers like you can have like different compounds. I don't know,
Yeah,
dude. But
let's hear your list.
yeah, but my oh well, I think your Rico winning is a realistic possibility, and then half. I said one and a half could happen. The half is that Tri-City could get like partially have the track be a little better. So you know,
It won't happen.
I I I don't think it will, but I'm saying there's a chance. There's a chance. My Christmas list is to have a bunch of variety and racing, especially sprint car racing. I want to see the like upsets of the outlaws and the high limit guys. I want to see like the first time winners. And at the local level, I want to see the first time winners. I don't want to, no offense to AJ Flick, I don't want to see him winning almost 20 races again. I think he won like 15 or 16 or something. I don't want to, no offense to him, I don't want to see that. Unless he's winning a bunch at Port Royal and some here. I just want to see a bunch of diversity and who wins. And I want to see a bunch of first time outlaw winners as well as it's weird saying first time high limit winners because that would be almost everybody because they're like brand new. But
Hmm.
just seeing like maybe like an upset like a local guy from like anywhere upsetting the high limit guys and outlaw guys would be phenomenal. My second thing on my Christmas list is similar to what you mentioned about Tri-City, but I want Knox and Tri-City to both get some good owners. I mean, not saying the previous owner of Knox was bad. He did a lot of improvements, but it's just, hard to run a track. It's, drain just hard, it costs a lot of money, and if you're not making enough money, it's not worth it. Hopefully somebody that can um make a run and make some money from for both tracks get them and just improve them and just, hopefully improve Western PA racing just that little bit more. And then Oh, my third one. Oh, I guess it kind of goes back to my first one, but I want to see one of our local guys beat the big touring series. Like whether it's in the late models or the sprint cars, like both series, I want to see like Mike Norris beat like the Outlaw late models or Lucas Oil and Brandon Spithaler or AJ Flick or somebody like that, or Cy Lynch beat the Outlaws or the high limit guys. Just I want to see that local track just go nuts over a guy pulling off a big upset, and just that's the goal. I mean, it kind of get the same thing as my first part of my Christmas list, but kind of not because the first one's more realistic than this, but you never know. Silence almost pulled it off. And Jared Miley a couple years ago won a race at Port Royal. I mean, not a
It's
local
true.
track, but he's from this area. But yeah, and that's pretty much all we have today, I believe. Um, so short episode, Christmas special, I guess you could say. So, hope everybody has a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Uh, you know, just like, comment, subscribe, follow, rate 5 stars, whatever. Do it as a Christmas present for us. And just be safe and don't get your name in the paper over the holidays.
Yeah.